Tomorrow, June 6th, marks the 81st anniversary of D-Day, June 6, 1944. In my district, Bedford County, Virginia, is designated as World War II Heritage City by the National Park Service, the only such World War II heritage city in Virginia. Bedford County is home to the National D-Day Memorial. This memorial commemorates the soldiers who courageously and fearlessly stormed Omaha Beach on June 6, 1944. Bedford had the largest D-Day loss per capita of any town in the United States, losing 20 men on Omaha Beach. Known to many as the Bedford Boys, they were amongst the first soldiers to land at Normandy as a part of Operation Overlord. Their stories of heroism and sacrifice will be passed along from generation to generation. One of the men who sought to memorialize their heroic actions was Staff Sergeant Bob Slaughter. A native of Roanoke, Virginia, Mr. Slaughter served in Company D, 116th Infantry Regiment. Soldiers from Central, Southside, and Southwest Virginia served in the 116th. Mr. Slaughter and the 116th were part of the first wave on the beaches. When you watch the opening scenes of the film Saving Private Ryan, you will see the terror and the chaos the men of the 116th saw. Mr. Slaughter was one of more than 34,000 Americans who stormed the beach over the several days of the operation and faced heavy artillery from the Atlantic Wall and Nazi war machine. Mr. Slaughter, 19 years old at the time, lived through the horrors and mass casualties of D-Day. His company faced heavy shelling as his landing craft reached the beach. The incoming fire from enemy weapons persisted as he stormed the beach and bravely trekked up the dangerous terrain. Even though many of his unit were killed before leaving the beach, he was part of a small group that found a goat trail that was protected from the Nazi fire. That group circled behind the enemy and took out the enemy positions, firing on the American soldiers below. More than 10,000 Americans lost their lives on D-Day, including many of the Bedford-based soldiers of Company A. Mr. Slaughter received 2 Bronze Stars and Purple Hearts for his service. Later in his life, however, he wanted to award and honor the countless lives that heroically fought on June 6, 1944. The memories of these soldiers had to be preserved, and that was his task. Those memories drove Mr. Slaughter to undergo a journey to honor the lives of those young men who served our country as on one of the most daunting days in American history. Mr. Slaughter, along with others, including Lucille Hoback Bogus, who lost 2 brothers that day on D-Day, pushed for Bedford to be the home of the National D-Day Memorial. He founded the National D-Day Memorial, served as its chairman for 7 years, and later wrote a memoir, Omaha Beach and Beyond, to commemorate the sacrifices of our D-Day soldiers. U.S. President Bill Clinton signed the legislation designating D-Day Memorial in Bedford as the nation's monument to D-Day, and President George W. Bush dedicated the memorial in 2001. Every year, the National D-Day Memorial hosts an anniversary event to pay tribute and recognize the sacrifices of America's valiant soldiers. That would be tomorrow, and Bedford's not that far away. As a former member of the Virginia House of Delegates and the Congressman from Virginia's 9th District, I continue to visit the memorial and pay tribute to America's greatest generation. For last year's 80th anniversary, nearly 24 World War II veterans were present. Tomorrow's event is slated to welcome several. Tomorrow's event will also feature a special panel that discusses the legacy of Mr. Slaughter, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He died in 2012, and he would have turned 100 this year. Mr. Slaughter's son will participate on the panel. The tremendous success of the memorial, the patriotism that it inspired, and the stories continue to be shared can be attributed to Staff Sergeant Bob Slaughter, Company D, 116th Infantry Regiment, 29th Infantry Division. As a resident of the Roanoke Valley, I had the honor of getting to know Mr. Slaughter. Tomorrow is about honoring 19-year-old Bob Slaughter and all the men who went to fight for freedom. What mattered was their sacrifice, their strength to fight, their willingness to put their lives on the line so others could be free. What mattered was Bob Slaughter's drive to memorialize the countless sacrifice of his brothers in arms. to all our World War II veterans, to all the families of those who served on D-Day, and to Mr. Slaughter, our nation owes you a thank you, and I thank you for your extraordinary sacrifices on behalf of American liberty. I yield back, Mr. Speaker.